hope. Welcome back to Resilient Journeys, the podcast where we dive into the life challenges that shape us, helping each other grow and heal along the way. I'm your host, CJ. In today's episode, we're talking about a topic that's incredibly important, but often painful to discuss: toxic behavior and narcissism. I wish I had known what I know now about 10 years ago when I first encountered someone whose behavior was toxic in every sense of the word. Looking back, I thought narcissism was just someone who was a little too full of themselves, someone who thinks that they're the center of the universe. But what I encountered was far more harmful. This person had an inflated sense of self-importance, lacked empathy, and always needed validation from others. If you didn't feed that need, you were out. And sadly, I was one of those people discarded when I didn't meet his demands. It took me far too long to recognize that I was being manipulated. So today, I want to share what I've learned. We'll break down what toxic behavior looks like, why it's so damaging, and most importantly, how to reclaim your power by setting boundaries and saying no. We've all encountered toxic individuals, whether in our personal lives, at work, or even within our own families. Often, they don't reveal their true nature immediately. At first, they can be charming, funny, and caring. But over time, their behavior starts to slowly erode your confidence and sense of peace. And you're left wondering why you're constantly second-guessing yourself, walking on eggshells, or feeling emotionally drained. If you've ever felt like this, today's episode is for you. So, what is toxic behavior? Let's start by defining it. It's not just a bad day or a disagreement. It's a pattern of behavior that consistently makes you feel disrespected, drained, and diminished. Toxic behavior isn't about occasional mistakes, but a continuous stream of actions that undermine your confidence and peace of mind. A toxic person might manipulate you, ignore your boundaries, or project their own issues onto you. They create power imbalances where they try to control, dominate, or belittle you. And while the initial signs can be subtle, over time, the impact is undeniable. You might find yourself second-guessing your decisions, questioning your worth, or feeling like you're always in the wrong. Maybe they twist your words, dismiss your feelings, or make you feel like you're constantly overreacting. This isn't a healthy relationship. It's one where your needs and emotions are pushed aside in favor of theirs. It can be hard to see their behavior at first because toxic people often disguise it as concern or care. But over time, you'll begin to feel like your emotional energy is being drained by their constant demands, their criticism, and their need for control. The narcissistic connection. We need to dive deeper into this narcissism and how it often feeds into toxic dynamics. Now, narcissism is a word that gets thrown around a lot these days, but it's important to understand the layers beneath the surface, especially when it comes to narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD. This is a more severe form of narcissism that can be incredibly damaging to those around the narcissist. But even if someone doesn't have a formal diagnosis, narcissistic traits can still wreak havoc. Some narcissists are fully aware of their behavior. They know exactly what they're doing, and they manipulate situations to get what they want. These people are often calculated. They use gaslighting, guilt tripping, or even love bombing to keep you under their control. And when you challenge them, they retaliate, sometimes in subtle ways, sometimes in obvious ones. But not all narcissists are fully aware of their actions. For some, their behavior is driven by deep-seated insecurities or a fear of rejection. They genuinely don't see themselves as the problem because acknowledging their flaws would challenge their fragile ego. In these cases, they might not intentionally harm you, but their lack of empathy, denial, and defensiveness still cause immense damage. So how can you spot narcissistic behavior? Here's some key traits to look out for. A grandiose sense of self-importance. They believe they're better, smarter, and or more important than others. They have an insatiable need for admiration. They constantly seek validation from others. And if you stop giving it to them, they'll turn on you. A lack of empathy for others. They can't or won't recognize or care about other people's feelings or needs. They have an obsession with image, power, or status. They are fixated on how they are perceived by others and will do anything to maintain that image. They have a tendency to exploit or manipulate others for personal gain. This can involve using people for their own benefit, whether emotionally, financially, or socially. At first, a narcissist might seem charming, confident, even generous, but eventually their need for control becomes clear. They'll downplay your achievements, take credit for your ideas, and twist conversations to make everything about them. And when you challenge them, they retaliate by belittling you, giving you the silent treatment, or using guilt to pull you back under their influence. Being in a relationship with a narcissist can have profound emotional consequences. At first, everything may seem perfect, but soon you'll begin to feel the emotional toll. You might experience constant self-doubt because the narcissist makes you question your judgment and decisions, causing you to lose confidence. You may experience chronic anxiety. You're always on edge, never knowing what kind of mood they'll be in or what you'll do to upset them. You might feel emotional burnout because you give and give, but it's never enough. And eventually, you're left feeling drained and empty. Isolation. Narcissists often isolate you from friends, family, or support systems, making you feel like they're the only ones who truly care about you. And like me, you may feel a loss of identity. Over time, you may start to shape yourself around their needs, burying your own desires and dreams to avoid conflict. These effects can be devastating, and the hardest part is realizing that it's not your fault. Their behavior was never about you. It was always about their need for control. And the narcissist's favorite tool is gaslighting, which is one of the most damaging tactics narcissists use. This is when they make you question your reality. They deny things they said, invalidate your feelings, and make you feel like you're crazy for questioning them. You might hear phrases like, "You're too sensitive," or "That never happened," or even "You're overreacting." Over time, gaslighting can cause you to doubt your own memory, your feelings, and your judgment. You start to wonder if you're imagining things. But here's the truth. Your experiences are valid. To reclaim your sense of reality, start by grounding yourself in your truth. Talk to trusted friends, keep a journal, and don't let anyone, especially a narcissist, tell you what you should or shouldn't feel. So, how do we say no and take our power back? The step is simple, but incredibly difficult. Saying no. Saying no doesn't make you mean or selfish. It's an act of self-care. It's setting boundaries and protecting your emotional well-being. Start by noticing when something feels off and trust that feeling. If someone is trying to manipulate you, gaslight you, or make you feel guilty, take a step back. Set that boundary and hold firm. It won't be easy, especially if the person is someone close to you, but it is necessary. You'll likely face pushback. Toxic people don't like boundaries, and narcissists thrive on controlling others. But stay firm. You deserve to make your own decisions without fear of punishment or guilt. And remember, you are not alone in this journey. Surround yourself with people who respect your boundaries and who lift you up, not tear you down. People who see your worth and celebrate your growth. As we wrap up, here's what I want you to take away from today's episode. Say it after me. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are not hard to love. You are worthy of respect, kindness, and real love. Toxic and narcissistic relationships can leave lasting scars, but they do not define you. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to walk away. You have the power to choose peace, to set boundaries, and to protect your heart. And today, you have my permission to begin again. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Resilient Journeys. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone else who might need to hear it. Until next time, stay strong, stay grounded, and remember, you are worthy of love. Real love. Thank you for being here.